Alrighty, guys, it's your boy Bob, the patron saint of obscure Japanese anime PS2 games, and once again, holy shit, what are we about to get ourselves into? This is gonna be something fun, and this time I'm helping things up. And hey, Brandon, what's up?
Holy shit. Remember when save data had personality?
Fucking tell me, but dude, not even just that. Remember when you had you could view game files on the PS3, and it also had music playing in the background for some of them?
And sometimes they were animated.
God.
Just the game tiles.
And you can even see your save data easily. God, those were fucking old days. Oh, getting old. It's fun.
You can still do that on the PS4. You can't do that on the PS5 or Switch, though.
Yeah, you gotta fucking dig for it, though. Oh, good times. Anyway, what's up, boys and girls? Bob here with Brandon, and time for another... Holy shit, this just got a translation out of absolutely fucking nowhere game. I love those. This will turn out to be my favorite fucking games.
English patch 1 version 1.1.
I didn't notice that. Oh yeah, I think the guy actually went back and translated some additional things if what I saw in Seed Romance was correct. So what this is, if you're familiar with any sort of Jojo Yugi... I was about to say Jojo Yugi tuber. That'd be a weird crossover. No.
If you're Egypt. Stardust.
Yeah. If you're familiar with any sort of Jojo YouTuber out there, you probably are familiar with at least this game remotely. So what this is, this has lore to it. So this is the PS2 game for Jojo Phantom Blood. And this is not an adaptation of the manga strictly. Oh no.
Whew.
Oh, this I know, Eric. Pretty good. No, this is something with lore. So, if you're familiar with JoJo, you might have heard rumblings, somewhere deep down iceberg, somewhere maybe, references, that there was going to be in the mid 2000s an anime movie for Phantom Blood, and that sort of happened, but not quite.
Oof.
Also, ignore the on-screen porn. Just kidding.
I love Rondo of Blood.
That's my favorite. Okay. Oh, by the way, ignore the immense performance issues. Speed 55%. Jesus. Okay, I guess we address this really fast.
Hello, webcam.
Hello. Yep. Hi. To address this really fast, this game has some serious performance issues on play. I have no idea why. I think it might be the game engine with PCSX2. I am not entirely sure. Anyway, so maybe I should just I'll go to this now. So basically, there was a Phantom Blood movie released back in the mid 2000s, but it didn't really pan out because Rocket didn't really like how it came out. And it was a bit iffy. However, we did end up getting this game of all things. By the way, if you want to see it, there are in fact trailers for the Phantom Blood game out there. It's wild.
The Phantom
looking.
Blood movie was animated by the same studio that did the 1993/2001 Stardust Crusaders OVA.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, and while that was all, and while the story in that was also slashed to hell and gone. It was actually fantastically animated. That 93 OVA is the best that JoJo has ever been animated, bar none. Fight me.
Which one we talked about? We talked about the one that was it's got the more orange hues to everything about it, or about the other one?
The 90s OVA. The one that very clearly looks like it was done in the 90s.
I feel like you know what you're talking about, but the problem is there's just two different animation things for it. Damn. I'm not really sure of the distinction between the two, unfortunately. But no, I can believe it.
One of them is done with hand animation, the other is done in digital.
Oof. I think I know which one is the hand animation, though. It's probably the one that... Oh, okay, here's an easy question. Is it the series that Antfish originally did the part 3 Abridged series for?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I know what we're talking about then. Yeah, that one. That does actually look really fucking good, bizarrely enough.
You said the thing.
I said the thing, and we haven't even gotten to that line in the fucking game yet. Damn. I'm getting ahead of the curb. Also, wow, Star Platinum does look wild in that shit. Holy crap.
So the Phantom Blood movie was animated by that same studio, and it was a troubled production. Araki really did not like how the final product turned out because they had to fit all of Phantom Blood into a 90-minute movie, which, if you already know, Phantom Blood had a hard enough time fitting into 9 full episodes for the David Productions anime. They blitzed through it, and it was still a bad product for it. Imagine shoving all of that into 90 minutes. They had to make a lot of cuts, like removing Speedwagon entirely.
That's an injustice right there.
So it was pretty miserable. And then in the process, one of the producers died, so they lost a big chunk of their funding. So the movie ended up only having one theatrical run in 2007 for a couple of months, and then it never saw a home video release ever again. And that was the end of JoJo animation, or games, or any other non-manga media products for the next 5 years until the David production anime started in 2012.
Yeah, I was gonna say, rest in peace to JoJo for the next 5 years until David Animation just rose it from the fucking ashes. Man, that was great.
No, I know some people are gonna say this, and I'm gonna get out ahead of you and ahead of them and say no, an Abridged product did not revive the original product. Team 4-Star did not cause Kai to happen, or Super, or any of that. And Little Karibo did not spark any popularity in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like causing Bonds Beyond Time or Dark Side of Dimensions. They had no hand in any of those products coming to fruition. Neither would Antfish's JoJo Abridged have any bearing on JoJo coming back.
Yeah, Antfish's abridging of JoJo was extremely underground. Like, I think like the first bits of his Phantom Blood one did kind of get some traction. Wasn't like, I don't think any of those parts have ever passed 1 million views. And if you look at Team 4-Star's numbers, yeah, it's unfortunate because I mentioned this during the streams, but Antfish's abridging of Phantom Blood is legitimately my favorite abridged series on YouTube. It's just so fucking amazing and so concise and well done. And I'll never see the conclusion.
No, I know I don't want to make it to sound like I hate any of those products. I love all of those internet shows, but the thing is, all of your preconceived notions about internet culture circa 2010 are wrong and bad, and you should feel bad for thinking those things.
Yeah, the closest thing I could possibly think of that might have had a remote influence is, well, obviously there was Chris Sabat actually reaching out to Team 4-Star and doing some nice cameos. Besides that, maybe possibly Little Karibo might have had some influence on Konami of America specifically, just like a minute amount. But even then, that's stretching it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Products have been released alongside anime and card games for the last 20 years. Nothing he did would have had any influence on that in the slightest.
Yeah, Japanese companies don't really give two shits what Americans do, as you can clearly see with Konami sometimes.
They actively seek to impede anything that Americans like to do.
Yeah. I actually don't remember. How did we get on the talking point again? My wife came out and was showing someone around really fast, and Rivers being a shithead.
The 5-year gap between any JoJo media.
Oh yeah, no, obviously, no. Antfish would not have had any hand in that. As hilarious as that idea is. Hey, also props to us. We just talked our way through one of the most boring segments of the game. Legitimately, props to us.
To be honest, my eyes glazed over. I wasn't even seeing what was happening.
We went through the entirety of pretty much like the end days of Dario Brando, which, I mean, good. I feel no remorse for wife beaters.
Yeah. You know, this is probably a hot take, but I actually vastly prefer Dio's Part 1 design to his Part 3 design. I think, while JoJo would get over the top and ridiculous in later parts, I think Dio's Part 3 design is one that never really stuck for me.
I can fully understand your opinion on that, because his Part 3 design does look kind of goofy.
His ridiculous elf shoes.
Yeah, the David anime does kind of bring it around to actually looking pretty decent, though. I will totally give him credit for that.
There's an element of sophistication and class to this Victorian era garb.
Practically. Excuse me. Okay.
Those Titans are about to eat that girl.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. We went off on a massive tangent and we're still at the beginning of the game. I have some things actually set up before we get too far ahead of ourselves.
1 second. You can tell that this takes place in British because that
our
man has
hero,
some homegrown British. You can tell that these characters are British because that man has some truly homegrown British teeth.
You said it, not me, but no, you're right. Then again, 80s
all four
Japan,
of them that are still there.
80s Japan viewing of the outside world is fun at times, to say the least. What is in America? I don't know.
You know, the actual three-dimensional assets actually scale up pretty well. Those buildings look nice.
Yeah. 2006, yo. Even at its worst, some PS2 games were still pushing the graphics pretty decently.
That was something you wanted to say?
Yeah, there's a few things I want to say, actually, before we went off on tangent about abridging. So, okay. I gotta reset my brain hard. Man, you really fucked me up for the intro. Okay.
I do my best.
So, the part 1 game, essentially, yeah, as Brandon was explaining, this is essentially a game adaptation of the movie that never came out to whatsoever. However, on that note, this game, bafflingly, despite the movie itself being complete dog shit with how it wanted to overly or try to like overcompress everything, this game actually manages to tell pretty much everything in part 1 really well. Am I getting frame drops on the playback? Not on my actual video file, but like when I was playing this game, I might have actually gotten some frame drops. Weird. Anyway,
looks smooth to me. He moves like a gorilla.
Yeah, no kidding. So there's a lot of things actually taken with the part 1 game. So you're gonna see with the gameplay that yeah, this game is kind of rough when you actually look at it. But I wanted us to tackle this game anyway because out of nowhere, literally a couple weeks before I actually moved to Washington, somehow someone had the wild idea that hey, there's that part 1 JoJo game out there. We may as well go ahead and translate the game. And so they did. And I don't know what possessed them to do that, but it did. And so I figured, you know what? We may as well cover this game because it is the absolute... For as low as people do kind of see Phantom Blood at some points, and I will say it's not the best series out there, it's still like the jumping off point to the rest of JoJo. There's a lot of things you can go over and talk about, so fuck it, may as well, right?
The problem is that the Phantom Blood anime is actually not very good. It's intentionally rushed because they knew that people already liked Battle Tendency, so they wanted to skip as quickly as they could to Joseph. If you actually read the Phantom Blood manga, which is like a third longer, there's a lot more interesting things to actually be found. I can't remember them offhand because I haven't read it in like 6 years, but it's a good bit longer and goes a good bit more into their characters.
Well, I'll tell you one thing immediately that definitely sticks out to me is, and I think it was either you or Alex that pointed this out in the chat while I was streaming this game for the first time, but in essence, that intro we had at the very beginning there, you know, the one with the woman being stabbed by the weird dude, and it was like Aztec times. Yeah, it turns out that the manga for JoJo actually starts off with that flashback rather than just skipping straight to the carriage crashing.
Yeah, they give you a bit of a prologue on that. They do the same thing actually in the Stardust Crusaders OVA, and actually in the Phantom Blood movie, believe it or not, based on accounts of people that have seen it, that it actually opened up with an explanation about the stone mask.
Yeah, honestly, going through this game, there was actually a lot said about the stone mask that I don't think was ever covered in even the David anime, so some interesting shit going on there. That actually did give me a further appreciation of the relationship between vampirism and Hamon, which is still baffling to me to this day, but kind of cool. Oh god, those buck-ass teeth, Jesus.
Like I said, all 4 of his teeth that remained are truly British teeth.
Truly British.
Yeah, that's one of the problems. That's one of the problems of adaptation, and especially re-adaptation. That's one of the problems with, for example, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, is the first 10 or 15 episodes are were covered in the original anime, and they did it over a span of like 20, 25 episodes. And they rushed through them so much in Brotherhood because they'd already done them once, and they expected you to know that everything was rushed. You don't actually get to dwell on anything, and a lot of scenes are rendered far worse than their original counterparts. If there was supposed to be an impact or a lesson learned, it's just completely glossed over.
Ouch.
All right, Jonathan's voice says, but this voice.
Let's hold off on that for a quick moment. I do want to quickly address this. Before we go too much further, well, first of all, this game is obviously taking art more so from the manga itself rather than, I think, straight from the anime adaptation. Like, it's kind of nuts how, like, there was a game tie-in for the movie, but the movie didn't really have a direct influence on the game itself. It's really weird. Like, all the art style is definitely more original manga. But that being said, yes, let's just get this out of the way. The art style for part 1 has aged really badly.
I think that, too, again, is a case of adaptation. Not everything works in current styles.
True.
The thing you have to remember is that Phantom Blood was not trying to... Actually, no. Most of Araki's manga was not trying to be manga. It was trying to be Western comics. And if you look at it through that lens, then it's a lot easier to take in.
I can see that. I personally get more of a sense that what I take away from it is that it looks to me like Araki didn't really have like a set style he had going for it at the time, and more so definitely took some elements just straight from Fist of the North Star. I mean, this is very obvious when you even just look at Jonathan's later designs. Holy crap. I'm gonna
motion blur really killed that introduction.
Yeah, no kidding. That said, though, I am of the eternal belief that if you're going to copy something good, and also add to it as well. And for what it's worth, I do think that despite some wildly off body proportions at times, oh my god, especially with some of the things I was looking at earlier with the manga, it's still good. Like he nuzzles in, and I think he starts finding his own style even by part 3.
This isn't even a case of them just being like North Star characters or anything ridiculous or as hideous as what the Stardust Crusaders anime would look like. These characters are literally wearing hockey padding underneath their tailored suits.
Yeah, you can see it even with these weird to say pre-time skip designs. The heads are a little small for the bodies, and that does not get better.
Look at Jonathan again, full body shot, and tell me it doesn't look like he's wearing hockey goalie equipment underneath his suit.
Oh no, seriously, yeah. You can definitely tell that these were days when they were definitely it was also the 80s, and I feel like a byproduct of the 80s, you know, the whole politics rant. The whole Reagan administration was overly machismo everything, and that did bleed into a lot of culture. And I think that actually did find its way into Japan, especially with like Fist of the North Star and this to a capacity.